This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5 o'clock, a woman beaten with a hammer is dead from her injuries. What that could mean for the man arrested for that vicious attack.
Someone took their shingles. That remains a mystery. But what's happened since this all became public? I'm Rafael Sanchez. That story next on RTV6.
And it will be a beautiful day in the neighborhood less than a month from now. That's when one of the most anticipated new movies of the year comes to Indy before you can see it anywhere else. And we're looking forward to that so much. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. All right, it's 5 o'clock. We want to wish you a happy Friday. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. And we are going to turn to meteorologist Todd Clausen now to know whether or not it's going to be a beautiful day in your neighborhood.
You know, for the most part, I think everybody's going to experience probably maybe a 15 to 30 minute window with the potential for some storms later on this afternoon. But outside those storm chances, it's a decent day. Once again, it's warm and it's muggy. You notice there are some visibility issues again starting to develop in northern locations. Not terrible, but it is reduced just a little bit here. So I-69 as you work your way up from Muncie into the Fort Wayne area, then up US 31 from Kokomo to Peru. Be aware of some reduced visibility. The temperatures actually come up a degree in Indianapolis overnight now since the last hour. And that's probably indicating a little more in the way of cloud cover building in. So if you want to check out that beautiful full harvest moon, do it here pretty quickly this morning because this cold front is off to our west, and that's going to come through later on this afternoon with a period of storms. It's mainly mid-afternoon into the early evening hours that storm front will develop from west to east. We'll time out the threat for you before those storms arrive, though. Once again, high temperatures getting close to 90 degrees.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Want to get back to some breaking news we're following on your roads this morning. Check out this video from the scene on the northeast side. You can see the lights up there. We're being told that a driver of a truck was going southbound on I-465. That driver hit the bridge there at 75th Street that runs over the interstate. The truck driver then drove off from the scene, and police are still looking for that driver at this hour. People at the scene also still assessing the damage to the bridge there at 75th Street and the debris on the road. They're working to clear that up. We can tell you that 75th Street is closed this morning between Binford Boulevard and Shadeland Avenue right now. If that's part of your commute, your easiest option would be to just hop down onto 71st Street and take that instead. Of course, this is a story we'll continue to follow. We can tell you, though, that interstate travel is still moving along just fine this morning in those southbound I-465 lanes. But again, we'll keep you updated as we learn more from police.
New this morning, police in Anderson are investigating a shooting that sent 2 people to the hospital. This happened just before 9:30 last night at a home near Meridian Street and West 17th. Officers say a man and a woman were shot multiple times. Their conditions have not been released so far. Anderson police are asking anyone who may have information on this shooting to call them at the number on your screen, 765-648-6775.
Also new this morning, police have arrested a man from Indianapolis after a woman was beaten with a hammer and later died. Corey Garrett is 45 years old. Police say the attack happened Monday night at a home on West Jackson Street in Yorktown. That's over in Delaware County. Sharika Taylor told police that Garrett choked her and hit her in the head with a hammer. Police say that Taylor died from her injuries 2 days later. Right now, Garrett is charged with attempted murder and domestic battery. Prosecutors are still waiting on autopsy results to determine if the charge will be upgraded to murder.
The mother of a 15-year-old girl is taking Warren Township schools to court over a teacher who was charged with sexual misconduct. The student's mother says the school district was negligent in the hiring of Brittany Mang. The former Spanish teacher and softball coach at Warren Central High School was arrested back in May over allegations of an inappropriate relationship with the student. The lawsuit says the high school and the school district failed to keep the teenager safe, causing her humiliation and psychological harm.
Well, the FBI putting out a nationwide call to help identify a man who could have critical information in a sexual exploitation case. Investigators say that the man in these images may know something regarding a child victim. The pictures are believed to be from 2016 to 2018. If you know anything that could help this investigation, you can call the FBI at 1-800-225-5324. You can also go to the FBI website. You can also find a link to that site by going to the RTV6 app and just clicking on this story. Well, only here on RTV6, results for a Shelby County family with a missing roof. It's been quite a week for this couple who returned home from a camping trip to find their shingles stripped from their home.
Rafael Sanchez first spoke to the Giles family on Tuesday, and now those family members once again have a full roof over their heads.
It's the sound of results.
I just want to be as good as these people are and return the favor in some way.
It's what happens to good people, overcoming an unexpected situation.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster at first. I didn't know for sure what was going on.
Tuesday was bad. Kevin and Shelly Giles returned from vacation to find their shingles stripped from their home. The family believes the unknown roofing company may have thought they were at the right home because Kevin was planning to replace the roof himself and had packages of new shingles laying outside the home. The crew split from the scene, forcing the couple to call police and to file an insurance claim with a $2,000 deductible. Their story caught the attention of Johnson County-based SPG Roofing and Restoration.
It feels like a dream.
SPG reached out to RTV6, seeking to use their skills to bring peace of mind to this family.
The owner of our company feels very blessed in his businesses, and he wanted to, do the right thing and help out the Giles family here, and obviously they were done wrong.
So let's talk numbers. On this very hot day, it will take a crew of 7 men, 10 hours to get this entire job done today.
I'm amazed by it all. I can't believe that, you see these things on TV and then it's happening to you, and it's just I'm in disbelief, and it's opened my eyes to a whole new picture of life that, that there are good people out there.
Rafael Sanchez with that report. The crew wrapped up the work on Thursday. SPG ended up saving the Giles family up to $5,000 in repair costs.
Awesome story there, an update. Well, here at 507, we have some big changes that could be coming soon, and it could impact how you're going to park in downtown Noblesville. The current parking setup was designed when Noblesville was much smaller and before the Hamilton County Judicial Center was built. A proposed new downtown parking layout here, you can see it on your screen. It would combine new paid parking lots and also a hashtag-shaped area that would allow you to park for free for up to 2 hours. You can see the entire parking plan right now in the RTV6 app, also at theindychannel.com. The city will hold a public meeting on this plan. That'll be on October 1st.
I think the best thing we can do is to let people know that each one of them is precious.
A big picture is coming to the Heartland Film Festival this year. Last night, the festival announced it would feature the screening of the highly anticipated movie about Mr. Rogers, starring Tom Hanks, more than 2 months before the movie hits theaters. It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood will be shown at Newfields on October 10th as part of this year's Heartland Festival. Other events announced last night include a special 20th anniversary screening of The Mummy. There will also be a Q&A with the film's star and Indy native Brendan Fraser. That will happen October 11th at Newfields. And the Oscar-winning film Breaking Away, which was set and shot in Bloomington, is celebrating its 40th anniversary this year. There will be a screening of the movie and a Q&A with its star Dennis Christopher October 19th. A lot to look forward to. But Todd, we need to get through this weekend first. What can we expect weather-wise?
This weekend's going to be great. Try to get outside if you can and enjoy the sunshine, and humidity, that will be a lot lower. Now, the humidity is still pretty high this morning as you get going. You may want the iced coffee or the iced tea here instead of that warm cup of coffee, with temperatures that will be in the 70s throughout the course of the morning drive, but it will be dry with partly cloudy skies. That'll change, though, as the day goes on. So the skies are partly cloudy currently, a little more in the way of cloud cover to the north, but as you look off towards the west, a lot of heavy rainfall making its way across Lake Michigan right now into western Michigan. But this cold front is going to come through. So while we miss out on the real heavy rainfall, that cold front will generate some storms across the area. The main threat would be damaging wind. The timing is about 2 p.m. in western locations and then 5 p.m. off towards the east. The further east you are under the marginal risk for severe weather. We'll talk more about this storm front coming through and also the timing for you using TrueCast coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. A move forward for an impeachment inquiry of the president, even as Democrats don't yet agree on it. We'll show you the steps some members members of Congress took and a dare made by the other side of the aisle.
And we do want to get back to that breaking news we're following on your roads this morning on the northeast side. This is I-465 here near 75th Street. The truck here hit this bridge overpass and then the driver drove off. We're going to have the updates for you from the scene as well as a detour from 75th Street, which is closed at this hour. That's all coming up on the other side of the break. Stay with us. You're watching Good Morning Indiana.
Weekdays at 9 on RTV6.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The time right now is 5:13 on your Friday, and we are keeping a close eye on your roads as you're heading out to work or school this morning. But we want you to take a look here at this video from the northeast side. Our crew is at the scene. As crews there were looking to figure out what happened to this overpass. You can see that they were assessing some damage here at southbound I-465 at the overpass with 75th Street. Now, what we're learning is that a truck driver went through this area, hit this bridge, and then drove off. Police still looking for the driver at this hour. But there obviously is some bridge damage here. So they have 75th Street closed over the southbound lanes of I-465. You'll need to avoid that between Binford and Shadeland. If 75th Street is part of your morning commute on the northeast side, I would hop down to 71st Street, take that instead. Right now, interstate traffic is still traveling, so it's not impacting your southbound I-465 commute. But of course, this is something we'll continue to monitor and keep you updated.
President Trump and other Republicans are downplaying the latest move by House Democrats to move a step closer to an impeachment inquiry. The House Judiciary Committee voted to set the ground rules for an impeachment investigation into the president. The committee's chairman accused the president of dangerous conduct, while Republicans are daring Democrats to start an impeachment investigation.
Conduct under investigation poses a threat to our democracy. We have an obligation to respond to this threat, and we are doing so.
I dare you to do it. In fact, I double dog dare you to do it. Have the House vote on those 18 words and then go at it. Why won't you do that?
Far House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has resisted calls for an impeachment inquiry, angering the more liberal members of her Democratic caucus. Pelosi and some fellow Democratic leaders say that polls show the most of the public is not in favor of impeachment.
At 5:15, Virginia's lieutenant governor suing CBS for interviewing two women who accused him of sexual assault. Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax filed a $400 million defamation lawsuit against the network. CBS interviewed Vanessa Tyson and Meredith Watson back in April. The women say that Fairfax sexually assaulted them more than a decade ago. Fairfax denies their claims, and his lawsuit says that CBS ignored the evidence that the women were not telling the truth. CBS says it stands by its reporting and will, quote, vigorously defend this lawsuit, end quote.
Homecoming weekend at Purdue University will also be a homecoming for the school's astronauts. Purdue is known as the cradle of astronauts, with 25 graduates who have gone to space. That includes the first and last men to walk on the moon. 14 of those grads are scheduled to attend the latest Purdue astronaut reunion, which happens the second weekend of October. There will be a meet and greet for the public, and the astronauts will be recognized on the field at halftime of the Boilermakers homecoming game against Maryland. It is 5:16 right now, and we are going to look up at the sky this morning. Todd, there is a full moon. What else can we expect weather-wise?
You know, we'll see the moon here this morning, then we'll see the sunshine, and then we'll see some storms. Today's kind of that transition day eventually into some different weather as we head into the weekend. But yeah, check out that moon if you get a chance. It's really, really bright here this morning. So it's hot and humid once again today, at least the first half of the day. Then a cold front is going to arrive, and as that front goes through, there's going to be a brief period of storms throughout the afternoon hours. And by brief, I'm talking about just a line of storms that's going to make its way across the state. And it's probably only going to rain in your neighborhood 15 to 30 minutes if you even see the rain at all. And then you'll be done with the rain chances for the day today. And once this front goes through, here's the big change, the humidity. It's going to drop as we head into the weekend. Outside right now, no issues here downtown with visibility, but there's a little bit of patchy fog in northern locations. Temperatures warm this morning, 76 in Indy, 71 in Bloomington. Kokomo currently sitting at 69 degrees. So a little more cloud cover to the north as well. So overall, we'll just call it partly cloudy this morning, but it's dry for us. Not the same from Chicago towards Grand Rapids, but I will point out this real heavy rainfall is going to stay to our north. What we will deal with is the cold front coming through, and that's going to be later on this afternoon and into maybe what we'll call the early evening hours in eastern locations. So Here is the timing for you. There could be a spot storm or two by the noon hour up to the north, but here's that line of storms that's going to develop, and it's a very thin line. That's why it could only rain in your neighborhood for maybe a half hour, and that's just about it. The threat will be over by mid to late afternoon in western locations through the heart of central Indiana. The storms probably roll through between about 2 and 4, and then off towards the east by 7 o'clock. And by 7:30, 8 o'clock, we should be done with the storms, which is good news for Friday football across the area and any other plans that you may have this evening. It's a slight risk from Peru to Indy, and then points towards the east and as far south as Greensburg, and that is from the Storm Prediction Center. Damaging wind would be the main threat with those storms, as well as some lightning and some heavy downpours. But this evening, the humidity drops, temperatures fall into the 70s, turns into a very, very nice evening, and then for the day tomorrow, it is terrific. Mostly sunny skies, highs are right around 80 degrees, a low humidity. Get out there and enjoy. And then as we work our way throughout the course of the rest of your 7-day planning forecast, the temperatures come up again on Sunday, but the humidity is pretty comfortable at 87 degrees, and then a hot, dry stretch of weather for much of next week. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We're keeping a close eye on traffic right now on the northeast side. This is I-465 and I-69. Everything here near Benford Boulevard traveling up to speed. No issues to slow you down, but we were monitoring that truck that hit something, the bridge overpass on southbound I-465 right near this area. It damaged the bridge at 75th Street, closing that as they work to find out who the driver is that hit this. The driver left the scene, and they're also assessing the damage to the bridge. So let's take a look right now at our Traffic Now map so we can plan this out for you. This is the area we're talking about. 75th Street is closed between Benford Boulevard and Shadeland Avenue. If this is part of your commute, I'd hop down to 71st Street, take that over to Benford Boulevard as your detour this morning, and we'll continue to keep you updated as we learn more on that issue. Now, over here on the west side, we do have some road work westbound I-74 as you're getting off I-465, so just watch for crews working in that area. It looks like traffic is still traveling up to speed. And then a reminder for you, we do have that closure still southbound westbound I-465 on the southeast side of town. That will continue over your weekend, so just a reminder to that if your travels take you to that side of town.
It is almost the middle of September, but for the Marion football team, it is only week 1 of the season. A change to their schedule gave the Knights an extra week off. Marion has high expectations again. They are number 7 in the NAIA national poll. They hope the season opener against St. Ambrose will help lead to a deep run in the playoffs.
Having this extra week has allowed us to slow down a little bit and make sure we get a lot of that stuff in. But still, first game, You know, I mean, so you're trying to figure out, okay, what are we forgetting and what are we leaving out? You know, that's the thing that keeps you awake at night as a coach leading into an opening game.
The Knights season opener kicks off at 1:05 tomorrow afternoon on the Marion campus.
Well, this could be a big blow to IU's hopes of upsetting Ohio State tomorrow down in Bloomington. Starting quarterback Michael Penix Jr. may not play. Coach Tom Allen says that Penix suffered some sort of injury this week, though the coach was not saying exactly what happened or when. Allen says it will be a game-time decision as to whether Penix will play against the Buckeyes. If he does not play, Peyton Ramsey will get the start. He was the Hoosier starter all of last season, but he lost the starting job to Penix in summer camp.
A new place for you and Butler Blue to have some fish and chips. Coming up, a familiar restaurant coming soon just down the road from Hinkle Fieldhouse.
And still to come after the break, we'll have more coming up on another restaurant and a place you can get some chicken and the latest on this.
But if you want that chicken sandwich, you're going to have to BYOB. We'll tell you what that B is, though, coming up.
Prices at Ross. Yes for less.
Welcome back. We are staying on top of that breaking news on the roads this morning. This is video from earlier this morning on I-465, the southbound lanes, where a truck driver hit the overpass here at 75th Street, causing damage to the overpass, leaving debris behind. That driver drove off. Police still looking for that driver at this early hour. Now, what we can tell you is 75th Street is closed here at this bridge for your commute. It's closed between Benford Boulevard and Shadeland Avenue. Take 71st Street as your detour, and we'll keep you updated as we learn more about this situation.
Butler University is getting a new pub. Chatham Tap is taking over the former Scotty's Brewhouse building at Sunset Avenue and Lake Road. That's just down the block from Hinkle Fieldhouse. It will be Chatham Tap's 3rd location in central Indiana. They're also on Mass Ave and in Fishers. The new restaurant plans to open by the end of this month and will employ about 50 people. Are you sad you weren't able to get one of those Popeyes chicken sandwiches before they ran out?
Yeah, well, it may not be too late. You won't have to wait too much longer. There is a catch to this, though. You may recall that Popeyes sold out of the sandwiches not long after introducing them last month. It became a national craze. Well, now Popeyes says while they wait to get the sandwiches back in stock, you can essentially make your own if you bring your own bun. Popeyes says if you bring a bun, you can order a 3-piece chicken tender and make your own Popeyes sandwich right there. Hey, Popeyes promises that the coveted chicken sandwich will be back in restaurants soon, and who knew? It's just their chicken tenders on a bun, basically.
You know what?
So there you go.
Way to be resourceful, Popeyes.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yes. All right. Well, we do want to bring in Todd and talk about the weather because it's Friday, and it's been really hot here.
Yeah, 3 days in a row we hit 90 degrees. We probably don't quite get there today because the cold front arrives, but it's still going to be warm, and it's still going to be muggy, and it's not out of the question if that front stalls a little bit that we could get to that 90-degree mark. This morning we're dry. That's the good news. Partly cloudy with that hazy sunshine up to 85 degrees. This afternoon we bring in around the showers and storms in western locations first. That's why you're a little bit cooler. It's a little bit warmer to the east into the low 90s from Richmond to Columbus because the front gets to you a little bit later in the day. We'll talk more about those storm chances coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 5:27. Stay with us. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Day at 10 on RTV6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
A facility taking care of those who can't take care of themselves could soon close.
This morning, how the facility says you can help them out. Plus, state environmentalists say they don't know what caused an oil spill on the White River in Indianapolis. Working for you, Call 6 Investigates is uncovering important details about where the oil may have come from. It is 5:30 here on your Friday morning. Oh my gosh, Friday the 13th. We're having some wacky stuff going on in here today. Yes, the full moon is out, and that is why I'm standing here alone because Lauren Casey's over there right now. We've got a lot going on in here. But first, we want to get over to meteorologist Todd Clausen to let us know what else is going to go on today.
You know, we're going to throw in some heat, some humidity, some storms. But yeah, check out that full moon that you can see there behind Meredith this morning. Nice and bright. Yesterday when the moon was rising, it was absolutely spectacular. It looked a lot bigger, obviously, lower on the horizon than it does currently, but still nice and bright. Some visibility issues to the north may limit the viewing of that moon, but no visibility issues from Indianapolis to the south. And if you see some of that fog to the north, it's not going to be super dense. Now, temperatures this morning are in the 70s. It's warm. It's muggy still all across the area, but we'll add the element of storms later on this afternoon. Your morning commute will be completely dry. In fact, at least through the noon hour, we should be mainly dry. But this front is off to our west, and as that front slides through, that's when we'll bring in some storm chances to this forecast. I would say probably around 3-4 o'clock in the metro area, a little sooner than that, off towards the west as temperatures climb up to 88 before those storms arrive. And then once that front goes through, the humidity drops as well as the temperatures. More on that coming up in just a few minutes, Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. We are taking a look at your traffic as you're heading out the door on this Friday. Here's I-465 Binford Boulevard. Want to show you here because no traffic impacts due to an earlier crash on the interstates in this area of the northeast side. So that is good news, but let's take a look at our traffic now map and I'll show you what happened earlier that's still impacting 75th Street. 75th Street is closed this morning for your commute between Binford Boulevard, Shadeland Avenue. You can take 71st Street as a detour. What happened was a truck driver hit the overpass here that damaged the 75th Street bridge, and they've been inspecting that this morning. But the driver then drove off. Police still looking for that driver this morning, and they've been working to clear the debris on the interstate. So we're going to keep you updated on that issue as soon as we learn more information. Right now, let's take a look across town. I-70 near the airport. If you're heading out to catch a flight, maybe to start your weekend off a little early. No problems here on I-70 near the Indianapolis International Airport. We'll continue to keep a very close eye on those roads as you start your Friday, and we'll keep you updated on any crashes or delays.
Time is running out for an Indianapolis facility that provides a safe and nurturing space for those who can't take care of themselves. A sudden funding shortage has put the future of Joy's House Adult Day and Caregiving Center in jeopardy. The Adult Day and Caregiver Service offers its guests an active day, stimulating their minds and exercising their muscles. But all that care comes at a cost. Now, facility leaders say the price tag is getting too high following a decrease in donations and just recently new cuts to Medicaid.
If we took the cost that it takes to truly run this organization and the work that we do and passed it on to our caregivers and the families, they wouldn't be able to afford it. It would be disastrous for them and for us.
AARP ranks Indiana last in the country when it comes to caring for older adults, people with physical disabilities, and family caregivers. That's because of Indiana's low level of affordability and access to long-term health care services like Joy's House. You can learn more about Joy's House fundraising efforts by visiting this story in the RTV6 app.
At 5:34, an organization feeding hundreds of thousands of hungry Hoosiers every year is laying out its plan for the future. Gleaners Food Bank says it wants to increase the amount it shares with Hoosier families by 2.5% by the year 2023. At the same time, Gleaners wants to make sure that 80% of the food is healthy. That includes fresh fruits, veggies, lean proteins, and different items to make those meals.
With the unveiling of Gleaners' new strategic plan today, our city moves closer to a day when no child, no veteran, no man or woman has to navigate their daily life hungry or malnourished.
In honor of Hunger Action Month, Corteva Agriscience also pledging $90,000 to buy more than 1 million pounds of fresh produce for those hungry families.
There is already one confirmed vaping-related death in Indiana as there are growing concerns about the safety of e-cigarettes. And this morning we're learning just how many teens are vaping. Riley Hospital for Children at IU Health says almost 1 out of every 3 high school students have vaped in the last 30 days. Doctors at Riley Hospital say they've seen an increase in vaping-related illnesses in the last few months. If you vape or know someone who does, these are the symptoms of potential problems you need to watch out for.
It acts a lot like a flu-like illness. It starts off with some chest pain, cough, some shortness of breath, maybe some just overall fatigue, muscle aches, just feeling overall crummy, not necessarily fever though. We have had children who have had other organ systems involved, not just their lungs. We've had children who it's affected their liver and their kidneys as well. That seems to be less common.
Riley Hospital for Children says traditional cigarettes impact your lungs differently than vaping or e-cigarettes, but they say it's too early to tell if traditional cigarettes or vaping is worse for you.
Well, students at a northern Indiana school are mourning the loss of their classmate after he drowned following football practice. 14-year-old Curtis Walton was a football player at Calumet New Tech High School up in Gary. After practice on Wednesday, the coaches let the players go into the pool to cool off, but at some point, Walton collapsed and went down into the bottom of the pool. His teammates and coaches pulled him out of the water, and they tried to restart the teen's heart.
Our coaches became the first responders, immediately doing what they needed to do to revive the student. Losing a student is just at the top of my list of one of the worst things that could possibly happen.
Well, Walton died at the hospital on Thursday. Right now, officials say it's too early to tell what the underlying health conditions the player may have been dealing with.
This morning, concerns over fines accrued by the Floyd County Auditor's Office are boiling over. A state report shows more than $20,000 in unpaid fines and interest had built up in the auditor's office before the county stepped in. Councilmember Dale Bagshaw says the county paid the fines with the understanding that Auditor Scott Clark would pay them back, which hasn't happened. With little communication from Clark, many in the county are concerned.
I mentioned in the meeting last night, if it was any other county employee, he'd be fired. But we can't do that. All we can do is, so therefore, I'm the one that brought forward the motion to a vote of no confidence.
Bagshaw says the other staff in the auditor's office have been the ones working with the county to try and correct these issues. The state's audit has been forwarded to the Indiana Attorney General's office. Attempts to contact Floyd County Auditor Scott Clark were unsuccessful.
At 5:38, the state says that it still doesn't know what caused an oil spill into the White River earlier this month. Call 6 Investigates has been digging for answers. The oil spill happened back on September 3rd near Bluff Road and West Southeastern Avenue. The Indiana Department of Environmental Management says that it doesn't know how big the discharge was. The state did not even notify the public until after RTV6 started asking questions 2 days after the oil made its way into the water. White River advocates are demanding answers and action, and for the polluters to be identified and held accountable. Right now on our Friday, the kids are getting ready to head out to the bus stop, Todd, and what do they need to wear today?
Yeah, shorts and t-shirt. That's basically what you need here throughout the course of the morning hours as it's warm and it's still muggy and skies are partly cloudy. No threat of rainfall here this morning, but as we go forward throughout the course of the day, as the kids come home, there will be some storms around. So obviously if there's some lightning on you maybe want to pick the kids up, don't let them walk home, and you may want to put the umbrella around just in case it's general rain and no lightning around, but we are expecting rain chances to increase throughout the day. The cold front is still well off to our west, so that's why the morning hours are going to be dry. But here's how the rain chances break down. By the noon hour, we're talking about a 20% chance. That's mainly off in western locations. It's really from 2 p.m. through 5 p.m. that most of us have the best rain chances. And then once that front goes through, your evening is going to be great. So there's a window of probably 30 minutes for most of us in the middle of the day that we have the chance of a few scattered storms. We'll time them out for you on TrueCast hour by hour coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. An Indiana company is growing after the break. How many new jobs Alum's new facility will bring to the Circle City?
And right now we're keeping a close eye on traffic. Here's a live look at I-465 West 86th Street on the northwest side of town. Traffic here traveling smoothly for your Friday morning commute. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break with your local news, weather, and traffic updates.
Claritin D. Get more.
The National Hurricane Center says a new tropical threat is developing in the Caribbean. Tropical storm force winds could be felt later today in portions of the northwest Bahamas, still trying to recoup from Hurricane Dorian. Tropical storm warnings have been issued for the not yet named storm. Actress Felicity Huffman is expected to learn her sentence in a Boston federal courtroom today after pleading guilty to 1 count of mail fraud. Her plea comes as part of a college admissions bribery scandal. Huffman admitted to paying $15,000 to a fake charity that facilitated cheating for her daughter's SATs. The top 10 Democratic presidential candidates going head-to-head last night right here on RTV6.
Well, the debate there quickly showcasing the stark differences in that party, especially when it comes to health care.
I've actually never met anybody who likes their health insurance company.
I, who wrote the damn bill, if I may say so, intend to eliminate all out-of-pocket expenses.
Candidates also discussed gun control and the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Trump campaign said the debate offered nothing new and that the president will, quote, dominate any of them.
The dive boat Conception is back on ground this morning, 10 days after the boat burned and sank, killing 34 people. All the victims have now been identified. The NTSB says all 6 crew members on board were asleep when the incident happened, and the boat did not have an overnight watch. 5 crew members who survived the fire told investigators they made multiple attempts to save the people trapped below deck. The cause of the fire has not been determined.
At 5:44, unseasonably hot weather in the Northeast prompting Baltimore officials to close more than 60 schools. Temperatures topped out at 96 degrees yesterday at the Baltimore airport. Baltimore County school officials say that keeping the hot school buildings closed was a call that made sense.
We always want our students to be in class at every school, at every program, at every center. But sometimes the weather throws us a curveball, and the middle of this week, unfortunately, has done just that.
Baltimore residents will get relief today. The high is expected to be around 75.
We are heading to Newcastle this morning for our Hiring Hoosiers Classroom to Career series as students are sparking an interest in welding.
At the Career Center, they're getting that hands-on experience in the welding program, and our Aaron Lish is joining us live there right now. And Aaron, they have a variety of tools to get those skills that they need so they can succeed in this industry.
They do. It's an amazing setup here. These students are really passionate about welding, and many of them growing up in this setting, and now they're taking what they enjoy doing and putting it towards future careers.
Sparked by as students create parts and artwork in the welding program at Newcastle Career Center.
I just like being able to create something and afterwards be able to look at it and be like, yeah, I did that.
They work on different areas of welding like oxy-fuels, shielded, and gas metal arc. They focus on the various kinds of metal and welding them in basic positions like flat, vertical, and overhead. Along with learning machine use and reading blueprints, they gain a full certificate in the program through Ivy Tech.
Pretty amazing to see how far a student can go from
not knowing how to use any hand tools to being able to build parts for a company that they'll actually use on their floor before they leave here.
State data shows there are more than 3,000 jobs in this industry open right now in Indiana. And students say they're mentally prepared to join the workforce.
You know, I go in there and I know I have the qualifications I need and that I'll place higher over someone else because of my training that I already have.
And with this experience, they're ready for the next step in welding after high school.
This program and the things I've been able to do has helped me, and I've gained a lot of knowledge, and it's definitely going to help me in the future.
So these are actual tools, and you need to make sure that they are prepared because things can get dangerous in these settings if they don't know what they're doing. So they recently added a virtual welding machine tool there so kids can really learn exactly what they need to do to perfect those tools before they work on the real deal here. We're going to have a little bit more from them in the next half hour, but for now, back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Aaron. The time now is 5:47. Beautiful full moon as you look off to the western sky. Now starting to see some high thin clouds move in, so it's not as bright as it was earlier this morning or even late last night. But I hope you had a chance to check out the harvest moon is what they call it this month. As far as our storm chances go, there is the potential for some strong to severe storms, mainly in eastern locations as we get into the late afternoon, early evening hours. At that point when these storms would be impacting that part of the state, they actually start off to the west a little bit sooner, but just based upon the timing and daytime heating and where that area of low pressure is situated to our north, it's the eastern locations that have the best chance of the stronger storms. So here's some of that high thin cloud cover that's starting to make its way into the area right now, but we will be dry throughout the morning drive. That is the good news. Here's that heavy rain with the area of low pressure up to our north, but we have to deal with the cold front that will come through, and that is still well off to our west. And you notice the further west and south you go, the showers get a lot more broken along that front compared to the heavy rainfall that's crossing Lake Michigan and into the state of Michigan right now. So let me time it out for you. 9 a.m., there could be a stray storm in northern locations here this morning. Don't be shocked if you see that, but most of us are dry at least into the early afternoon hours, and that's when this line of showers and storms is going to form. That's the actual cold front passing through the state, and it's a pretty thin band of showers and storms that'll roll through, so it's not going to sit there and linger, and you're not going to have storm after storm throughout the course of the day today. So once the storms move through your neighborhood, especially off to the west, you're done by about 4 or 5 o'clock. It's probably 4 or 5 o'clock-ish in the metro area. They linger a little longer off towards the east, but high school football games should be okay for the most part this evening, with the exception of maybe a brief delay as those games start off to more maybe Richmond into the Connorsville area where those storms just hang on a little bit longer. Temperature-wise today, we warm really quickly out ahead of the front into the mid to upper 80s across the area. But then you can see exactly where the front comes through mid-afternoon. So the further east you are, the warmer it will be into the upper 80s. And notice already by 3 p.m. cooling into the lower 80s in the western portion of the state. Then that rain goes through, and by this evening, everybody's back down into the 70s with humidity that will be dropping across the area. And then overnight tonight, we go back into the 60s. As far as the weekend goes, Saturday is going to be beautiful. Sunshine start to finish, low humidity, temperatures right around 80 degrees for your high. That should be terrific for anything you want to do, and that includes the big game down in Bloomington against Ohio State. Noon kickoff, 80 degrees with a mixture of sun and clouds, and a big game up in West Lafayette, as well as TCU is in town to take on the Boilermakers. That is a 7:30 kick. Temperatures in the mid-70s for that start, and then falling into the lower 70s or even the 60s as that game progresses. So you may want a light jacket up there in the Purdue area throughout the evening hours. Tomorrow, Sunday, mostly sunny, 87, and then plenty of sunshine next week as well, with temperatures, Lauren, remaining above normal.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look right now at your commute. Taking a look up here to the northeast. This is where 75th Street is closed between Binford Boulevard and Shadeland Avenue after a truck hit the bridge there earlier this morning. So take 71st Street as your detour. Over here on the west side, we do have road work on westbound I-70 I-74 and I-465, so use caution heading through that area. And a reminder, we have ongoing construction here southbound, westbound I-465 between I-70 and I-65 on the southeast side. Let's take a look, though, right now from our NDOT traffic camera. I-65 here in 56th Street on the northwest side. Traffic is still moving along up to speed. Ongoing construction in that area, as you can see by those flashing lights on the barrels, but everything is moving along just fine. We'll keep you updated.
Hiring Hoosiers is RTV6's mission to connect you to job opportunities. One company is tripling in size here in Indianapolis, leading to a 25% increase in employment. On Thursday, Alum cut the ribbon on its new 160,000 square foot facility on Waldemere Avenue in Indianapolis. That's on the west side near I-465 and Washington Street. Alum serves Fortune 500 companies around the world. They do everything from building websites to shipping products for whatever company they're working with.
Well, some new flavors are coming to the Colts home games this season. We're going to show you what's being served up the next time you visit Lucas Oil Stadium. My stomach is growling right now, Meredith. All right, we'll be right back after this short break.
This changes everything.
Well, the Colts are on the road this weekend. They're playing the Tennessee Titans down in Music City.
But when they host the Falcons next weekend, you'll want to be sure to head to Lucas Oil Stadium hungry. The focus of the new menu is distinctly a Hoosier feel using a lot of ingredients from all over Indiana. Among them, shredded duck nachos, cheesesteaks, a chicken and waffle sandwich with bacon. Each week, the stadium will also feature a burger of the game special. Vendors tell us there is, of course, lots of local beer and vegetarian options, too. That all looks really good and filled with a lot of gluten. So sadly, I will not be able to partake, but that's okay. More for you two.
Right?
Yeah.
The only problem is it'll probably set you back like $25 to $30.
I know. That is the only
But it does.
So come hungry and come with a full wallet.
Yeah.
It does look really good, though. Right? So, all right. And good luck to the Colts down in Tennessee this weekend. If you're heading to that game, by the way, it's going to be hot down there in Tennessee. They're looking at temperatures on Sunday probably in the low 90s. Temperatures here this morning are in the 70s. Radar is quiet right now. That changes, though, as we work our way into the afternoon hours. A cold front is going to swing through the state. There will be a brief band of rain with some storms that could be borderline strong to severe, but it doesn't linger long. And then soon as that band of rain goes through, the evening looks great. The showers and storms should be through the entire state by about 7, 8 o'clock this evening. So if you have evening plans, do not cancel them before that front arrives. Our high today is up to 88 degrees.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Well, it is Friday, and football teams all across the Hoosier State are preparing for tonight's big matchups. Coming up in the next half hour, our own Alyssa Donovan is joining us live from Knightstown to show us how the Panthers are preparing for their game against Union City.
Plus, Rascal Flatts, Jordan Davis, and Morgan Evans all taking the stage at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center tomorrow night. Keep watching Good Morning Indiana for your chance to win tickets to see that show. We'll be right back.